Can you guys hear me now? What about now? Can anyone hear me? Can you guys hear me? Please say you can hear me. Can anyone hear? Can you guys hear me? Hey, it's working. So if you guys are joining the live stream, that's good. At least you guys can hear me now, hopefully. Sorry for the technical issues. I'm pretty naff with these live stream setups, so they do catch me up by surprise, but I just came home from work and I had to come on here because I think it's really important that we just had a little chat about why the stock market is selling off, and also have a little look at some of the technicals that are lining up and exactly what I'm doing with my money. We're going to be discussing some Bitcoin, and we're also going to be discussing some of the plays that we talk about on the channel, especially NEO, because I'm in shock that NEO is down at $31. What is going on? That is just crazy. I can't even believe this. It's like, I feel like lucky. I'm actually going to buy some more NEO today in this live stream on this drop. NEO is going to be probably overweight in my portfolio if I do buy into this dip, even though it's down, because it is one of my maxed out positions. I love this company moving forward. It's just got so much potential, guys. It's a stellar company, and I just think, wow, $31 for NEO is quite a considerable low, considered where this company is going to go in the next 5 years. You have to remember, guys, if you're investing in hey, Jackie's in here. Yes, Jackie, how you doing? If you're investing in these companies, you just have to remember why you're investing. And it is times like this, even myself as an experienced investor, as an experienced trader that's been in the markets for quite a long time, quite a few years, you know, you do still get, I'm going to say the word anxiety. It's very natural to feel uncomfortable if your stocks are underperforming, if they're down, if they're red. But you just have to let go of that inhibition, and you have to remember if you're concerned with short-term profits or whether you're concerned with long-term profits. And if you are someone that is in this for the short term and you want to take those profits right now, then there's nothing wrong with doing that. And if you want to accept some losses and you want to average down at a better price, you can always do that. But if you are in fact someone that is going to be holding positions in your portfolio like NEO for 5 or even longer in the space of years, you know, 5 to 10 years, then again, you need to see these opportunities in the market that don't come around every single day. And if NEO did actually dip below $30, then obviously scoop up the shares while you can, because it's gonna not be at these prices. I can guarantee you in a year or two from now, and you're going to be regretting that you didn't buy more on the dip, and people go, oh, you got so lucky when you made all that money in the stock market, and you'll go, no, I was just buying the dip. I was just buying the dip when everything else was down. How is everyone doing today? Where's everyone from? Let me know who's in the live stream. I would love to see. How am I doing? I'm just going to read through some of the comments now. It isn't going to dip more as market is bleeding. How do you know it isn't going to dip more? So we don't know exactly what the stock market is going to do in the short term, but what we can do is we can have a better picture of where it's going to go in the longer term, depending on what the company are trying to achieve. So we know that NEO, for example, is a company that is trying to have global expansion. They want to be one of the leaders in the electrical vehicle market. And again, they are actually concentrating on autonomous robots and taxis. So this is some really big news as a company. If you look at the other companies in competition and you look at their competition like Tesla, and you see where Tesla are, you can get a comparison as to where NEO could be in the future. And again, you can use that as a tool to kind of see where you're going to go. But in the short term, you have things like inflation fears, of course, and you've got different hedge funds, what Wall Street are doing, which is going to put pressure on the market depending on where inflation's going, and again, where the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P are going, if they're in fact in a bull territory or if they're in a bear territory. So that's how we know that things are going to go down or up. Right now, there is a lot of pressure, so there's nothing to say that NEO could in fact stay at these levels and go higher. We could in fact see a further dip in the shares of NEO, and that is again due to inflation fears, due to the global chip shortage. In fact, I can bring that up on my screen. There was an article I was just reading through that had just come out, I think, about an hour ago, and it was basically saying that they're still saying, and there's an analyst that basically said there is going to be an ongoing global shortage of semiconductor chips that will continue to hold NEO's production down for a while longer. But we all knew this. I mean, I spoke about it on my channel for about the last 2 months. I've even put it in pretty much all my NEO videos, and I said Q2 is going to be the hardest hit month for NEO to deliver on their deliveries because of that semiconductor chip shortage. And again, It's just unfortunate that it's good that we've got obviously the stock market in a position where we can buy our favorite stocks, right, on discount at a cheaper price. But in also the sense of we want profits and we want to take profits, and that thing that comes back to anxiety that I was talking about. You don't like having a look at your portfolio, seeing that it's red or seeing that it's down, because you always want to have that longer term mindset and you want to see green, but it's not always the case. But we knew that the semiconductor chip shortage was in fact going to hit the markets, and we knew that that was going to affect companies like NIO and Tesla that have obviously and use semiconductor chips. But it did in fact also hit many other different sectors, and again it did actually hit the solar sector. So if I look at a stock like Canadian Solar, for example, so I'll bring up Canadian Solar on here, just bear with me to get the charts up, which is CSIQ. So for Canadian Solar, you can see that we had a sell-off here as well. And the valuation for this right now is really coming down to some nice levels. And this company are, you know, killing it. They're doing really, really good revenue. And moving into the future, about 2022, 2023, we're going to see a really big exponential push into people using renewable energies. And again, a perfect example of that is look at how Bitcoin has dropped today, which is why we're making this video, right? Because Elon Musk has tweeted about the price of Bitcoin being obviously not a stable asset because of the fact that we're using all of these miners that are not sufficient with global warming and things like this. So obviously people are going to want to be using renewable sources of energy. So stocks like Canadian Solar in the long term are in fact going to do really well. Again, it's just having that long-term time horizon, and we saw a sell-off in the price of NIO and Canadian Solar due to this semiconductor chip shortage. And if I come back on to NIO, I don't even know where I put it in my watch list. I think it's near the top. Here it is. We also had inflation fears. We were at all-time highs. There was a bit of a correction in the market. So there was a transition as well from recovery in growth stocks. So we had like week after week, we've had hit, which is why we have seen so much selling. But these prices now, guys, are just, everything is kind of lining up to have some kind of a bottom at some point in the near future. And again, moving forward, we should see some nice prices. So if you guys are new in, I'm just a chatterbox, so I'm just going to be talking for you all night. If you could just give me a like on that, it really helps out with YouTube algorithms. We get some more people in here, and we can help those people out with some news and updates, and also that information. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, then please consider subscribing to this channel, because I'd love to have you on this journey with us where we make money together. I know YouTube has gone quite quiet recently with views, and again, people watching custom markets have read, which is totally understandable, like I said, and we're probably going to be here for a while. It's going to be a painful month, I think. The market, I had said this back in at the beginning of April, we're probably going to see a sideways market until the end of the summer, and then moving into Q3. And again, this was all due to the things that we had just talked about like the semiconductor chip shortage. Unfortunately for us, what we didn't know is the fact that inflation, although some investors were pricing in a higher than expected CPI, which came in at 4.2%, was much higher data release than people were expecting. So that has put a lot of pressure on the overall markets. And what that means is when inflation goes up, obviously everything goes up in value. So it's harder for companies to manufacture. They have to have higher loans, which is good for banks, which is why banks are in fact doing very well right now in the markets, and they're up 27% year to date, and why obviously you've got companies like NIO, Tesla, and all those kind of higher growth and tech stocks having those valuations extended. Obviously they have to come back down, so that's why you see a sell-off. And we've also had that shift, like I said earlier, from those high tech stocks into value and recovery plays. So we've had a lot of things happen. So if you guys we've got 21 people in here, so let me know where you guys are from. Say hi, make some noise in the chat so I know where you guys are watching this from. Just gonna have some water, guys. I had my my second vaccine just about 2 hours ago. So before I went live, I had my COVID vaccination. I had the Pfizer jab, so my arm so far is pretty good. I don't have a sore arm, so hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully I'll be COVID free. So we were looking at NIO, and I haven't talked about what I see NIO doing, of course, over the next few days and weeks. So if I was to look at this as a technical indicator, we have got a pricing around the $30, which is now pricing into hopefully a layer of support. We did test down here on the 10th of May. We bounced back up. And again, I always say technically, if a stock breaks a layer of support, then it's going to use that support as a resistance. So this is a layer of support here, guys, because we had bottomed down here on the 9th of March. As you can see, we actually came back up and then we came back down and we tested the same area twice. Again, this is now around the 24th to the 26th of March. We came back up and then for the third time, we came back down on the 19th. So this tells me that there is a really strong support layer for NEO. So if we break down below that, then that floor now becomes the ceiling. So it's going to become the new resistance. So the new range that we can expect, obviously, if this does become the support for NEO at $31, we can expect a range between $31 and about $35 moving forward, where price will probably sit in some layer of consolidation until we do have a catalyst that will either push NEO up, or in fact, whether we have something like bad news that could in fact see a sell-off maybe in the NASDAQ, the SNP500, which could in fact in the short term damper the price of NEO, and it could in fact come back down and we could test down onto a new layer of support. We could break that support there. So I do expect obviously NEO moving forward to be in that range of consolidation. If we do close today and tomorrow and we don't break that layer of around 31, then we are probably going to see NEO in a range between 31 and 34. Now, how long this can last for? It could last for a very short time. And like I said, if you have a long-term mindset, then you're going to be fine. Because again, I'm holding NEO as one of the #1 players in my portfolio. And I really do believe that this company are going to be very, very successful. They are lining themselves up. And we can see very, very clearly that China won a big piece of the electrical vehicle market, not only in China, but also globally. And NEO are in a position to capitalize on that. And again, they did have the backing of the Chinese government all the way back when they did start. And again, the government did loan them millions and millions of pounds, and they had a small stake in NEO, which they are trying to now pay off. So because of all of these things, I really am not worried when NEO comes down. I do see this as a buy the dip opportunity. So let's just have a quick look. We've got some people drawing unicorns. Yes. We got a vote on the channel. I said if ALPP, one of our favorite channel plays that we talk about a lot, let's have a look at ALPP. What is she doing today? So she's actually down about 6.5% to 7%. So again, we've had a breakdown from that layer of resistance over the last 2 weeks from $4. And we've actually come back down today. And I said that once we do get that NASDAQ uplisting, I put a little poll out what you guys want me to do for that video. And I think you guys have voted for my niece to dress me as a unicorn and come on here and announce that ALPP have got a NASDAQ uplisting. So I'm going to be pretty excited to do that. She's going to come over. She's going to choose all the clothes that I'm going to have to wear. I'm going to let her do makeup on my face, whatever she wants to do. So it's going to be a complete disaster, but hopefully it'll be pretty funny. We've got people in here from Bristol. Amazing. I'm down in Cornwall, so we're pretty close. Probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And it's a nice day. Well, it was a nice day today, actually. So can you look at NNDM and Mara? So Mara, unfortunately, let's have a look at her first, because we talk about Mara a lot. And on the Patreon, I actually talk about Mara a lot because it's one of the plays I'm holding in my portfolio, and I'm a firm believer in swinging this because again the price of Bitcoin is so volatile that obviously Marathon Patent Group and Raya are two plays that you can use to your advantage as an opportunity, because again they're so volatile, they move such high percentages that again if you're not good with stomaching volatility, then they're not good to hold. And I've said before, it can move 15% in a day, and in fact today it's moved 16% to the downside, and this again has been due to this news for the Bitcoin news that did come out, unfortunately, about Elon tweeting how, you know, Bitcoin is not really doing anything renewable, and we are burning too much in the emission stage of mining Bitcoin. And because Marathon Patent Group is obviously a Bitcoin miner, it is going to suffer the worst today, even more so than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is only down 12% today, as you can see. So Bitcoin's selling off, but Marathon Patent Group is down to $19. Now, if you're a firm believer in Bitcoin in the long term, then again, I really don't think that you should be phased. You should see these kinds of prices as a buying opportunity. And again, people always sell the news and buy the rumor. So again, there'll probably be a lot of selling pressure. There'll be some consolidation. And again, we will then probably start to trade higher as companies start to announce how they can make things better in the future, because that is what's going to happen. I highly doubt that they are going to stay ramping up the production the way they are without going forward, trying to think how they can become now more renewably successful to in fact mine the crypto asset of Bitcoin. So we are probably going to see some kind of news out in the future. When that is, we have no idea. But if you are a believer in Bitcoin, like I am for the long term, I think that Bitcoin is here to stay. No matter what happens or what Elon Musk might tweet, again, people are always going to have their opinions, and they are going to sell obviously on news or tweets like this, because again, it's just fear and uncertainty. But these guys are, you know, some extremely cheap prices. We haven't seen obviously anything like this since the very beginning of the year back in January, and the time before that we were below that was actually last year. So obviously if we do see a push back up in cryptos, and we do actually get good news about cryptos reforming into renewable energies, and we can actually get those crypto plays back up, then Marathon Paint Group is going to fly up with that as well on that news. So again, if you are a believer in Bitcoin, then the best thing to do is just dollar cost average in, and again, bring your average price down. I actually have my average price on Marathon Paint Group right now, I think around $35. I did actually buy it when it came back into 40, and I did actually buy it when it came back down to 30 the other day, because it came down below the support. So again, it did break down. Was not expecting this news today, obviously, about Bitcoin, but again, we just never know what the markets are going to do, and that's what makes it fun and interesting and also scary at the same time. But guys, that's why we're investors, and again, like I said, if you're in it for the long term, then I'm sure we're all going to be fine. And again, just look at the SNP500. It has its troughs, and it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And even when we had COVID, all the way back down here, and I'll bring it onto the day chart, and we look back, obviously, over a year ago today, you know, look at these lows, absolutely insane. We came all the way down here, but now we are all the way up here. So despite the fact that the global pandemic is going on, there was a solution, and now countries are being vaccinated and things are starting to return to normal in the majority of places, not everywhere, of course, and we're always going to have obviously fear around what could happen with new variants and things like that. So there is going to be fear and uncertainty in the markets always moving forward until we do get a full-time solution as to whether we have an indefinite vaccination that could work against all variants. So there's always news that could push the stock market down, but obviously if you are just a long-term investor, that is the risk that you have to deal with. But what we can learn from this is, despite the fact that you do get those dips over time, guys, if you look at the S&P 500, it does tend to have that beautiful, you know, upward momentum. And again, if you are a believer, like I said, in your stocks and nothing has changed in the fundamentals, they aren't losing or, you know, downgrading on revenues. Say they were a company like Netflix, say they had 20 million subscribers, or, you know, a perfect example is that a Curiosity Stream, another stock that I actually hold in my portfolio. If they had their earnings, but they were in fact losing millions of subscribers on their quarter earnings every single 3 or 4 quarters, you know, then that is something to be concerned with, something to be worried about. Then maybe it's worth selling those companies. But if those companies are expanding, if they are growing revenues, if everything is lining up, despite the fact that they may be losing money on their balance sheet, if they are growing aggressively and putting money into R&D, then that could be a different story. But as long as they are losing it for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons, then again, you should be buying those companies for the long term in your portfolio, dollar cost average in, and hopefully you will see over the time, like the S&P 500, that nice push and that lovely uptrend as we can see. So obviously you're going to get those dips like in Bitcoin, but again, moving forward, if you are a believer, then these are just buy the dip opportunities. So how many people do we have in here at the minute? We've got Mikey in here, we've got George in here. So hi guys, I hope you guys are well. I need to get on my pull-ups. Me and Mikey have a pull-up competition. He's always saying to do pull-ups. CleanSpark have the right thing. 95% of their Bitcoin mining is renewable energy. Indeed. Wow, that is pretty cool. I didn't know it was 95%. That is actually very high. So right now on the technicals of Marathon Paint Group, again, if we come on here, we can use the RSI indicator. So on this is the daily indicator. So I use TradingView up here. If you come to tradingview.com, if you're a new trader, you want to learn some technicals, then that is going to be your best site. It is a free site to use. You can actually pay and you can actually get some other things there that you can use. But again, you can use different indicators. So you can come up here to indicators and then you can add your indicators in. It tells you usually when the earnings are out, obviously. So we've got earnings out on the 30th of July. So you can use this down the bottom. You can put your volume in, and again, then you can change the date and the time, and you can put the RSI indicator in there, which is the relative strength index, which is what I love to use, obviously, if things are overbought or oversold. So on the day, we are in fact approaching areas of being oversold for Marathon Paint Group, but we also know that there has been a spike down because of that bad news. So I'm actually probably going to be buying some Bitcoin today as well. I think that obviously with the prices coming down, and obviously the RSI indicator coming down towards that 30 mark, probably we'll see some kind of a rebound And again, these are very, very dramatic swings of 15%. So who knows what will happen again in the short term, but I am a long-term believer that cryptocurrency is here to stay. I don't think that they are just going to dismantle all of the miners in the world and shut down these companies immediately with immediate effect, and we are never going to use Bitcoin again. I just don't see that happening. It's come too far. It's been around for so long. It's been around for absolutely years right now. So I really don't see how that is going to play out. I just couldn't imagine how that would kick up. So obviously this is a chance potentially to be buying the dip on some of these plays. And again, Coinbase is down 10% on the day. And this is due to the fact that I've always said if Bitcoin crashes or any type of the big crypto assets are going to crash, we are going to see a significant pullback in Coinbase, which has recently IPO'd, and Coinbase is down 10% on the day. So this is a stock moving forward. If we do still see a lot of people shifting their money into cryptocurrencies, and the way that they are growing their revenue so aggressively right now is absolutely insane, then this could be a really, really great player in the portfolio to get some shares of now, because in a few years' time, if crypto is going to be as hot as it has been over the last months and continue with that trend, then we are going to see a nice push up in this price in the long term for Coinbase. And I think ARK are now holding it. Let's actually go on to the ARK ETF for Coinbase, because they are holding it, I think, in 3 of their ETFs right now. And I'm not sure what position they're holding it at. So let me actually type it in a better way. Coinbase ARK ETF. I want to see what position they're holding it at. So let's go on to, where's it gone? It usually comes up if I type in the name. I'm just going to go on to ARK ETF. Okay. So let's go to the innovation. Have a look at where this is positioned now, because Cathie's been buying this and buying this and buying this. I want to see what position she's holding out. So we've got 25 people in here. Welcome in, guys. So Coinbase is now at her position 10, and this is obviously when Coinbase is in fact selling off. So we are down obviously 10% on the day. So this would in fact have been up even higher. And that just goes to show this has only been out for like, what, 2 weeks? Coinbase has only been out for just a few weeks right now, and Cathie Wood already has it as her number 10 position inside her ARK K ETF. So that's incredible, and she is so convinced that crypto is here to stay. I'm very convinced that it is. So we've got 27 people in here now, guys. So that's amazing. So go down, do me a huge favor, like this video for me, and let me know where you are watching this from. So I'm just going to catch up on some of the comments. I hope that this is giving you some good information, guys. I hope that this is giving you some good value, and you are also learning, obviously, about what is going on in the markets, also some of those technicals, and also what to watch for, also alongside with those cryptos. So Palantir, ARK has been loading up on this over 2 million shares in the last couple of days. Again, 2 million shares, that's absolutely crazy. So Milo says that, God, I am down 25 to 50% on most of my stocks. I am down a significant amount as well on some of my stocks. Some of them are up. I have actually made a mistake, guys, because just before this market correction, the financial sector was up so high, because it was up around 27% at one point. Now it's up over 40% year to date. But at the end of February, I did in fact sell some of my Canadian bank stocks. So one of my top 5 positions was in fact the Bank of Montreal. And could they pay a really nice dividend? I bought them back, obviously, when the Rona did, in fact, happen. So if I come back onto the SPY again, here we are on the NASDAQ. If I come back down on the SPY, I mean, the prices for some of these stocks were so cheap on this dip, all the way back down here when, obviously, the markets had crashed. So I bought into the Canadian stocks all the way down here, and I think the dividend payment I was getting was really high. It was almost like at 14% or something ridiculous. At that time, nothing had changed in the dividend, so I had a really nice dividend. But the thing is, the valuation had gone up so much since then, and they pushed up to such a high point that I in fact sold those Canadian bank stocks. Really regret that because I put them into growth and tech. Did not see that correction coming at the end of February. As hard as it was so hard to watch. It happened in the space of 3 days, and by the end of February it was just absolutely beat up. And since then we've just been trading sideways, and again now we've been starting to trade down. We've got the semiconductor chip shortage, like obviously if you were in the start of this I said about, and again we've had some bad news after bad news, obviously with a few things that have happened recently with inflation, with the CPI data that did come out a few days ago, and again the other things that we have spoken about. So what's happened is I put that money into into tech and growth, and those plays are in fact down. I did cut some losses on some of those plays. One of the plays was RMO, but it did actually have a spike up because there was a shorting on that, and it did have a spike up, and I managed to sell out for most of my position at break even, which was great. But I totally feel your pain, Milo. The best thing to do, like I said, if you are a believer long term, is just not to worry. And again, see this if you are holding companies like Alpine, like Neo, like Tesla. Again, these are going to take a long time to play out. We're not going to see those profits immediately, even though we want to, obviously, because that's just the way that our minds work as humans. We want to see green. We want to kind of feel that. But the reverse psychology of that is, in fact, if you can get your best stocks right now on sale for the next few months, you know, use that as an opportunity to, in fact, average down by the dip. And again, if you are planning to hold these companies for 3, 4, 5, or even 6 years plus, then again, that share price isn't going to stay the way it is right now. Just going to take a sip of water. So the markets obviously are pricing in some pretty heavy inflation, and there's nothing to say, guys, that inflation is in fact going to go down anytime soon. We could even see a small rise even next month when the next CPI comes out. It could very well happen. Obviously, this was a big shock. We were expecting everything about 3.3 and we had 4.2. So that is what's been happening. But what is really interesting, which I haven't spoken about yet, is as inflation fears go up, you would expect the price of Bitcoin to, in fact, increase, because obviously people hedge against inflation by buying into assets like gold or, for example, digital gold, which is Bitcoin. But we haven't seen that. And again, with this tweet that Elon Musk has been saying about, obviously, how the company would no longer be taking Bitcoin as payments for cars, leading its price to tumble, and taking other major cryptocurrencies with it, as again, against those concerns for environmental concerns. So we're seeing a sell-off instead of a gain, despite the fact that we should be using this as a hedge against inflation, which I think is really interesting moving forward. But again, I think that this is a perfect opportunity if you are a long-term believer, then in fact get a few shares or a little bit of Bitcoin, obviously dabble in. I buy my Bitcoin through Binance now. I have a Trust Wallet account, and also I used to buy it on eToro before I opened up those crypto wallets that I now have. So let's have a read. I'm good. I've still got my gold and silver under the bed. Amazing. Love that. Yes, and some of the stocks, like I said, we have talked about on the channel before that are a really good hedge against, obviously, they're kind of like those recovery stocks that we did speak about before. I had spoken about Disney, how Disney were opening up. Disney have had a small sell-off recently, but again, they're kind of flat on the day, but we still have seen quite a nice push this year over the last kind of month or two, which I did mention them. I even talked about them back in January on my channel. I don't even know where they were back in January. So we were back down. That's because they had a sell-off. That'll probably be why. So we were down at 162. I think that's when I actually bought back in. I actually bought, again, Disney right back again at the very beginning of the pandemic, and I sold them when they came up to 120. So that was, I don't even know when that was. Back here, I think they came back down 125, 26, somewhere around here. So I held them for quite a few months, maybe 4 or 5 months, and I sold them. I made some nice profits on Disney. They did, in fact, have another crash, and they have since come back up. But again, these are plays that you can use as recovery plays moving forward as parks open, as the cruise ships kind of start to sail out. You can use these plays. And again, BIP was another stock that I had talked about recently. I'm not sure where I have BIP in my list. There it is. So I said after 52, this could potentially be a nice buy. You can see that we did come down here onto the 200 today, and we have, in fact, had a nice bounce up. But if this does go below 52, then this could be a nice player to add. Obviously, slowly start to nibble in. If we do ever get a big drop and this ever drops below 50, then this is going to be a great play. Again, this isn't going to be like a growth or tech stock that's going to move very dramatically, 6% a day. I mean, you can see that we're moving 0.3% in a day. That is almost kind of red. So it pays dividends, and again, as we increase in infrastructure and all of these things, we've got the $4 trillion infrastructure plan lined up. This company is probably going to benefit. So Brookfield Infrastructure is the name of the company, and again, the ticker symbol is BIP. So these are plays that I've talked about that you can add into the portfolio that are going to be recovery. They're going to be slow moving. They're not going to have those dramatic swings, and again, it's going to put you in a different sector rotation, so you're not just heavy in growth, heavy in tech, and all of those other things. And again, as the S&P and the NASDAQ move, this is going to see a very similar correspondence because it's not going to have that relation to growth and innovation. So these are some of the plays that I had talked about. I had also talked about a few of the other plays. Facebook was one I had mentioned recently. This is quite dramatic. But if we do see any more selling on Facebook, I had spoken about this way back in February when we were down around these levels of 250. So we've since pushed up to 332 at the all-time highs there over the last 2 weeks, which is incredible. So if you got into Facebook, that's awesome. What other comments do we have on here? I love Global Clean Energy ETF, also pays dividends. I'm not in that, but I will have a look at it. Sounds quite interesting. We've got Rodney saying Palantir. We've already read that one. Hi Jace, what's your thoughts and predictions on EXE, RLC or not? I've never heard of them, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what they are or who they are. Where's everyone from? Let me know who is watching. Who do we have left in the chat? Let me know where you're from. Put a smiley face, some positive energy in the room. I don't know. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what you're doing with your day. I've started back at work now full time, like I said, because we've been on furlough here in the UK from, well, since November. A lot of businesses have been closed. A lot of companies have been, shut. But obviously over the last few weeks, things have slowly been starting to open up, and we're kind of going to that kind of full place production right now. So a lot of things are opening back up here in the economy back in the UK. If you're watching this outside the UK, then maybe your economy is already open. So George is in West Midlands. We've got someone from West Midlands in here. I speak to George quite often on Instagram. So hi, George. I hope that you're well. Hope Mrs. as well. George has got loads of animals. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. Go check him out. It's called Meet George. Go follow, go subscribe, go support. He's awesome. Really great guy. I'm actually doing an interview. I think I'll be doing an interview on Tuesday, George. I think you're going to be doing a Zoom call with me and recording it, and he's actually going to be putting it on his channel, and it's going to be how I got started with investing, what my first investments were, and he's got some other questions lined up for me. So if you do want to tune into that, I will put it up on my YouTube channel. Always great to support out a fellow YouTuber there. So we've got Kim from South Carolina. Amazing. I haven't actually been to South Carolina, but I did used to live in Florida for many years. I have a very strange accent because I've traveled so much, which is probably a very good thing. But Carolina is very hot. Incredible. Who else is from where? Laurette Demare. We have Jackie. Amazing. How is the weather there, Jackie? Let us know. What other plays do we want to look at today? Wow, APXT down below $10 now. Look at this. This is insane. I think Open Door's been selling off dramatically too. Let's go have a look at Open Door. And DraftKings down at 41. What? This is insane. You've got to be kidding me. What? Okay, I'm now in the red on DraftKings. Wow. I think my average price on DraftKings is about $42. So, I mean, I've been buying up this stock since last year in the summer. That is crazy, and it's now back down to those prices in June last year. Wow, I think we've got some bigger price predictions on DraftKings. Also, look at this, even ARK, position number 19, holding DraftKings 2% almost of their portfolio, and that's just in the ARK-K, the innovation ETF, which is amazing. DraftKings price prediction. Let's have a look. I want to see what we have on here for the DraftKings price prediction on here. With 24 analysts offering 12-month price forecast for DraftKings, including a medium target of $74, a high estimate of $101, that's pretty high, and a low estimate of $42.50, which we've now passed down below by, which is crazy. So the medium is a 75% increase. Wow, that is incredible. And this company were really growing aggressively. If I remember, I tuned into their last earnings call, or not this one, it was the one before. And the company was really saying that they were trying to grow quite aggressively. They wanted to be one of the leaders in this space, and they were taking advantage of this market as especially everything starts to open up in the economies. So that is a really nice play. And the fact that it's down so much, I mean, maybe I will purchase some more DraftKings today before the market closes in the next 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes left, so I will get on my phone in the last 5 minutes. I actually like buying at the end of the day. If I don't see a good deal in the first 5 minutes the market's open, obviously, you guys know the first half hour in the markets are crazy. So you can expect prices to go up in the green and then down in the red, or from down in the red 5% up in the green 2 or 3%. But as the day trickles on, you will get that kind of the price of what it's going to stay for the day. Once it gets on to about 6 o'clock here in the UK, which is about halfway through the market day, then you're going to kind of see where the markets are going to sit for the rest of the day. So usually at the end, towards the end, kind of 10 minutes, and you might be waiting for 5 minutes to get your order put through, but you will probably get a better price, especially if you've seen a lot of selling in that day, because the markets will just keep trickling down right to the end of the day. That slow bleed, as I say, and that's when I usually buy out in the markets. So GNOG, what is going on with GNOG? I haven't looked at this one for a while. This is a stock we talk about a lot. Golden Nugget Online Gaming, again, I think they secured contracts in New York. $10! This is insane. What? This is crazy. I cannot even believe this. This is crazy. Oversold levels on the RSI again. We are definitely going to see a bounce. It's just like, it just amazes me, like the money's just disappeared. There's like no money anywhere. It's just gone. Where's it gone? It's not in cryptos. It's gone from cryptos. It's gone from the stock market. Where's it gone? What are people doing with their money? Oh, that is so funny. Oh my goodness. Look at this stock. DSGT. This is a stock I spoke about when I first started the channel. Way back when. This had a crazy push, look, all the way up to $1.50, and now it's sold back to 17 cents. This company did not exceed on their revenue expectations, and my stop loss got triggered. But this company just went nosedived. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Someone told me earlier to look at NNDM, and I got so distracted, so apologies for that. Let's have a look at NNDM for you now that we're down here. I see it on the screen. Oh my god, my head's in my hands. This is now below $6. This was like one of my favorite stocks in the stock market. I can't even believe this. This is my second position. My average price on NNDM, I think, is $5. And I was buying this when it was below $2, and I put in like hundreds of pounds, and it started to push up. Once it got to $5, I doubled my position, so I started to average up over time, and I even bought this when it was up one point, I think around $14, $15. I was still buying this stock because I just loved it so much, and to see these prices again, I mean, Joseph Stern, you've got to give it to him. The guy's incredible. I mean, he took advantage of every single dip. I mean, if you look at that, I mean, they did a share offering 5 or 6 times here. They did one back in November. They did one in December. Another one back in January. This company continued to just take millions and millions of pounds. Obviously, we now know why. He's so smart. He's managed to get 2 new acquisitions out onto this company. And again, they have a really nice balance sheet now, and they are set for when they have to start producing those revenues. They were hit really, really hard by the pandemic. It's no wonder they have probably sold off, because again, they're not profitable right now, and they're really not getting any revenue because they haven't really sold many of their machines. But that's all due to the fact that everything is kind of closed down with the pandemic. And they are based in Israel, and I know that there is a war there right now, so that is quite concerning. That's the only thing that would concern me. Maybe that's had a little bit more of influence into why, obviously, it is down quite significantly. Maybe that's another reason why it's sold off so much. So Planet 13, yes, we will look at that. We've got people in here. Daniel is from Essex, and Jackie says it was hot but windy. How was Cornwall? The weather was nice today. It was actually not too bad. We are expecting a heat wave next week, Jackie. Apparently we're going to have highs of 30, but we've only been having highs of about 18 to 15 degrees. So it's going to be a jump in the next week. It's going to double up. So that's going to be quite exciting. If we can get 30 degrees, I'll probably be outside in my Speedo in the hot tub. So what place would I just say? Planet 13. Rodney wants me to look at Planet 13. I think that's up the top of my watch list. Oh, below $6. PLNHF, Planet 13. If you guys don't know, this is in the MJ space. They are growing revenues extremely aggressively. I think around 70 to 80% per year. This company has a big store in Nevada, Las Vegas, and they are also opening up a store in California later this year. And again, this is kind of set to grow significant revenues. They are doing quite a few million in revenue right now, and because they are such a small company, they have a lot of potential, room to grow. Again, this could be a really, really nice one if you are going to look into something that you want, again, in a different sector. And it doesn't seem to be so reactive with the overall market. It does kind of sit in its own kind of channel and its own trend, and you have to remember that with the MJ space, the smoky space, yeah, I can't say the words on here for monetization purposes, but those stocks right now are not able to be held by institutions, and they have to pay a lot more money, guys, to be on you know, the OTC markets and things, because they have to in fact pay legal fees which are much higher than if they were just to have, you know, normal regulations as other stocks do, because again they are working with that stuff. So once we do see a legalization, hopefully in the next few years moving forward, we are going to see institutions pile in for the first time ever into this space, and that could be enormous. We really don't know to what capacity that's going to happen, and that's going to be incredible. If, you know, companies like Planet 13 could all of a sudden have millions and millions of dollars thrown at it overnight, and the volumes could go insane from a ton of hedge funds throwing in millions of dollars, and the price could just absolutely explode. And then again, you have things where it has a potential to potentially be on NASDAQ, SNP500, all of those things. So moving forward, we're not going to get many opportunities like this. And TrueLeaf was another stock I was watching, which is also very similar, but TrueLeaf is a much higher leader, Canadian company, also expanding into US territory, and I think their share price is around $40 right now. The ticker symbol is TRUL, so I'll try and get that one up for you guys as well. Let's see where it is. There it is, TRUL. So TrueLeaf is another one. And again, I think this is the Canadian 47, but if you go to the US, it's about $40 right now. So again, this is the CSE for the Canadian markets. So TrueLeaf is another player. So I've got both of these two stocks inside my portfolio. And again, this company I think is worth about 5 billion right now. So they're doing really, really good things as well. They have the largest market share right now in Florida, funny enough, and they're doing really, really well with their Florida markets. That they are really, really growing those revenues. They're trying to get them up to over $1 billion by the end of the year in revenue. So they're doing a lot of revenue. And if they do, then this company could be, you know, 10 billion. They could easily double in the next few years, which will obviously see a doubling of the share price from today's prices. So again, I think we've got some nice price predictions on TrueLeaf Cannabis. I'm going to say I'm just going to say TrueLeaf. And if we go on to Google, I'm not sure what TrueLeaf price predictions we have. So based on 10 analysts offering price predictions on TrueLeaf in the last 3 months, the average price is $68 with a high forecast of nearly $100. There it is. And a low forecast of $55, which is still above, you know, where it is right now. And the medium represents a 71% increase. So again, price targets can be taken with a pinch of salt, but I'd just like to go on and have a look at what other analysts, obviously, because most of these analysts that give these price predictions, usually to some degree they are working inside that sector, so they know and they have a lot of knowledge on obviously those plays, so they do have some kind of realistic price targets. Again, there's quite a high fluctuation between the low and high, but it is good to do that. Thoughts on Jumia? Really love Jumia long term. Again, if you are long term on these companies like Amazon, then you are going to be absolutely fine. So Jumia is definitely a stock to buy at these levels, I think 100%. And you will see those highs again. I think Citroen, someone told me recently that Citroen came out and they did a report, and they actually said that Jumia is incredibly undervalued right now, and they are really, really growing revenues aggressively. They may even have earnings. They have had earnings out on the 11th. So we have more earnings out on the 18th as well. So I'll have a look and go through that a bit later. What other stocks are we? Thoughts on Fubo TV getting me some more Neo as well. Definitely, Frankie, I'm going to be buying up some more Neo tonight before markets close in just 10 minutes. So in fact, let's do that now. On the live stream, we are going to be buying some more Neo. So I'm just going to go onto my phone for 2 seconds, so excuse me. Curiosity Stream is down under $10. Wow, it's down to $8 right now. That is freaking me out. Why is everything on such a discount? This is crazy. And some DraftKings. Got to buy some DraftKings. Going onto my invest account, we are going to hit buy on DraftKings. Wow, so cheap, so cheap. This is just crazy. Wonderful. So we are now bought. Amazing. What other stocks would you guys like me to have a quick look at before markets close? IPOE as well. This is a fintech stock down at a very, very nice layer of support there. There must be a lot of margin calls today on growth stocks, definitely. I bet some people are sweating. But again, like I said, if nothing changed on your time horizon of holding these stocks for the long term, then again, you're going to be fine. So I've not spoke much about the cruise stocks. It seems that we've come down to almost a triple layer of support here on the cruise stocks. If you ever see this stock jump down to about $22, then this could definitely be a nice scoop up of those shares for NCLH, a company I used to work for many, many years. Great company, Absolutely love them. PDD. Have I ever looked at PDD before? I don't know. I've looked at DDD. Let's have a look. So this one is down. It's actually at a new layer of support right now. Came down here on the 3rd of November, and again you can see that we did have a very strong layer, and it is actually really funny because stocks always have a tendency, you guys have heard me say it a million times on this channel, stocks have a tendency to fill their gap. If a stock ever gaps up, as you can see here, back in November this stock jumped dramatically from 113 cents all the way up to 126 cents. Then for the last 6 or 7 months, we went on an uptrend and we come back down. And all of a sudden, look what's happened in the last week. Ta-dunk! We've now just filled that gap. 6 months later, we have filled that gap. Those gaps, 99% of the time, always get filled. So guys, if you see a stock that has jumped up on earnings and you're thinking, oh, this looks like a really good deal to buy, if it does have a gap, just remember 9 times out of 10, in the short term, like this, it might push up. But take those profits seriously, because you probably will see at some point the stock come down, fill the gap, and then again, when it sits there, hopefully there'll be a big area of support. As you can see, we did test down here before as an area of resistance. So this goes to show me that this is now the floor. If we do come back down past this layer of 163, which we have done, so this is now acting as a support layer around that $113 to $115 mark, and we filled that gap. So this is something to look out for, again, as another technical indicator. I hope that you guys are learning a ton on these live streams. So I'm always trying to give out, like I said, as much value as I can for you guys, because I want you guys to be as successful as possible, and it just takes time, and it's, you know, a bit of patience, a bit of trial and error. You've got to make those mistakes in the stock market as much as you have success in the long term. You are going to make mistakes along the way. No one's perfect, myself included, as I announced earlier when I did sell my Canadian bank stops. Again, I made a lovely profit on them, but in some way or another, I wish I hadn't sold them. And in fact, I had just held on to the dividend that they were paying, because I had quite a lot of money in them, and they were in my top 5 holdings. And I was quite excited to hold them, but I got too carried away into the hype phase of growth and tech, and I threw them in a bit early, especially right now that we are going to see a shift with the inflation. Those bank stocks are probably going to stay up at these kind of high, all-time high levels, maybe push a little bit higher. They have pushed up quite a lot, but of course, as inflation goes up, what does it mean? It means that companies need to borrow more money, they need more loans, so they go to the banks, and what that does is allow the banks to have a greater revenue, because again, they're loaning out that money, so they're going to get greater interest, which is going to push the bank shares up, which is why we've seen that transition into bank stocks, reciprocal plays, and also the energy space. Can you please talk about NEO and have a look at where it's going now? Yeah, let's have a quick look. So I did mention this earlier, so welcome in if you are new there, Chris. So NEO has come down again, and we have now come down to a new range of $31. There is a new layer of resistance at around that $35 mark, which is this yellow line I have got drawn up. So if we do close here today at $30, again, I just did buy some more, then we are probably going to see a range of consolidation around that $30 mark, all the way up to $35. So this will be a new range for NEO. The reason why it's come down today is because of this article here. We did have a new analyst come out, and they said that the global chip shortage is in fact going to put a lot of downward pressure on the delivery capacity for NEO in the next coming month. So that we can expect, obviously, them not to have, obviously, those high production numbers that, again, we were originally estimating. But this is just one person's opinion, and obviously, because they're an analyst, it influences the stock, on top of all of the selling pressure, the inflation fears, the semiconductor chip shortage that already existed, and again, obviously, that transition to recovery and growth out of growth stocks. So we've seen a huge, obviously, sell-off in NEO. If nothing has changed in your original thesis, Chris, then see this as a buy the dip opportunity, because I can guarantee you that in 2, 3, 4 or 5 years from today, NEO is not going to be delivering less than 20,000 vehicles per month. They are going to be delivering a much, much, much higher number. They are going to have expansion in Europe. They will maybe have expansion into the US as well. As we know, there was a lot of information leaked over the last 3 months about a potential US expansion. And again, moving forward, we are going to see a lot more factories, a lot more EVs being pushed out. And obviously, like we've seen Joe Biden put together a $4 trillion infrastructure plan, which would obviously help to include things like electrical vehicles and energy storage. Then we are going to see a push in the prices of things like Tesla, NEO in the long term, as we move away from combustion engine vehicles and fossil fuel cars, and we move into a new era of energy storage and electrical vehicles in the markets. So NEO for me is a buy at these ranges, and I really do think that you should find this a quite attractive level to buy NEO, because we're not going to get these opportunities, obviously, moving into the next year. Despite the fact that we may see another sell-off, we're not sure what's going to happen in the markets in the short term over the next month or two. It could, in fact, drop below 30. Who knows? But guys, I'm just going to be buying more, bringing my price down with my next paycheck. Because why not? Because obviously I believe in these companies, and if you're a believer in the companies, then again, just like we looked at the S&P 500 over time, if you are just to buy and hold over the course of several years, you are going to see a price. And if you just want to have a 10% gain, guys, on your account, then wait for that dip in the S&P 500, wait for that dip in the NASDAQ, and just go and buy the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. But if you want that more risk associated, you want to obviously change the world potentially and invest in those really good companies, those green companies that are being innovative, those companies that are changing, environmentally friendly companies like NIO, like Tesla, that are trying to change the world. And again, you have those enormous upsides, but there is going to be a lot of volatility with that, so you've just got to be able to stomach the volatility. But again, if nothing can change in your conviction long term, then you're going to be fine if you're a believer in that stock. So ALPP, guys, is down to $3.30. So this is going to be a nice place, especially if we come down below $3. I said if we ever get a chance to come back down below $3 for ALPP, I will be buying more quite heavily, especially if we ever dropped to $2.20, which is right down the low. No, it's not. $2.50 roughly is obviously another layer of support for ALPP. I'm not saying it's going to go there at all. We don't know what's going to happen. They could uplist to NASDAQ tomorrow and shoot up to $6. We really don't know. And then I'm going to have to wear a unicorn outfit that my niece plans and come on and do a live stream for you guys. MP materials, I will get out to you in a second. Do you think we could see NEO in the 20s, and where do you see it going end of year? So end of year, Chris, for NEO, I'm definitely going to say that NEO is going to be around $65. Rodney Hall, gotta run. Thanks, Jason, for the live stream. Always appreciate your technical analysis and insight. Have a great night. You're welcome, Rodney. I'm not sure you're watching this, but I hope that you have a wonderful night. ALPP, so we just looked at that. Like I said, I will be buying the dip on ALPP. In fact, guys, I'm going to buy some more ALPP right now on screen for you, because why not? It's ALPP. It's one of my favorite stocks. So let's go onto my invest account. Let's come onto ALPP, and we're going to be buying up some more shares. Let's get another 50 shares of ALPP. Review order, and done. We just bought ALPP. Sweet. So some more shares that bought of ALPP, one of our other favorite stocks. So just like I said, guys, the best thing to do every week, obviously if you see this place in the market come down, is just to average in over time and buy the dip. Average your price down, and if nothing's changed in your conviction, then you're going to be fine. My order just got filled. Hooray. So there we go. MP materials. Let's come on to MP. I think that might be at the top. Where is it in my watch list? Let me grab some water. If you're new in again, make sure to go down and give this video a like. I have no idea how many likes are on this video now. I can't see it at all because my live chat doesn't show me when I'm in the room if I do have any likes on this video. Maybe I've got 0 likes, guys. It'd be really sad. MP materials. Hey, so we are just below $25. So this is a really lovely play. And again, if we look at MP's stock price predictions from some top analysts in the field, we've got 5 analysts offering price predictions on MP materials with a medium target of $41, which is a 65% increase from the current share price. Again, that high estimate of 50 and that low estimate of 31, which all are higher than the current share price, which is nice because again, it means that you have some more buying opportunity with this stock moving forward. Again, we are at oversold levels here on the RSI. You can see that we've dipped below the 30. There's so many deals in the market. It's like absolutely insane. And I just keep thinking, can it go lower? Can it go lower? I'm just going to keep buying the dip. I just feel like I wish I had infinite money. I wish I could just win the lottery and just throw it all into the stock market right now. Just let it sit there for 5 years and then take it out. And then just like my money would just be on another level. Probably be the richest man in the world. That would be insane. What a dream. So we've got the NASDAQ, in fact, bouncing at a nice upside today of 1.6%. So we have, in fact, actually seen a bounce in the market after this dip. you can see again, this is another reason why I draw onto the technicals. We came down to oversold levels. As I said yesterday in my video, we are at oversold levels on this SPY, and we were testing down onto the 200 on the 200-day moving average. This I did bring out in the middle of my video yesterday. I did bring out a full stock market update where we can expect the markets to go moving forward. So be sure to check out the video if you haven't and you want more information on it, because I talk about basically what's going to happen over the next few months with the stock market. But I said we are going to see a rebound because, again, if we hit that 200-day moving average and we're oversold, technically, you're always going to see a rebound. It's exactly what's happened, despite the fact that tomorrow we might then see a sell-off. But I did say, and I predicted that we would have, obviously, this rebound. So that's what's happened. So what stock is my biggest holding? It's NEO. Funny enough, I am so invested in the future, very much a believer in Cathie Wood and all of those high conviction stocks. And I missed out the boat on some of the Tesla plays back in the early days. I wish I'd bought it. I remember seeing Tesla at $50. I remember seeing it jump up to $100. I remember seeing it jump up to $200, and it just kept doubling. And I was like, there's no way it can keep going. I'm not going to buy it when it's been going up 50% day after day after day. And I just missed out, and I sat on the sidelines for too long. And when obviously I started to do a lot more research into NEO and other electrical vehicles back then, because this was probably around May time, this time last year, funny enough, when that happened, I then started learning about NEO, and that's when I started to put some money into NEO, and again, it was in the teenage range. And back then, again, this was much more of a skeptical company because it was obviously framed upon because it was a Chinese company, and there was a lot of obviously fear and misleading information about Chinese stocks. I think we've come in the last year in the stock market to understand Chinese stocks a lot more. I think they are extremely undervalued, especially Alibaba. At one point, Alibaba was in my top 5 holdings. I did sell out when we did obviously have some news and information a few months ago when we did see that sell-off when the CEO did go missing. But nevertheless, obviously, I just kept buying NEO. Love NEO, love NEO, love NEO. So NEO became one of my top 5 holdings, and then it made its way to its top. Again, my Canadian bank stocks for some time were the highest holding, and I did actually have a lot of oil shares, and because they didn't move for an entire year, they literally stayed stagnant. I sold them at the wrong time because if I just hold on to them for this year, but again, we all learn lessons in the stock market. So I've learned a ton, especially in the last year. It's been an incredible journey for me. I feel like I've learned so much, which is why I started this channel, because I didn't want people to make those same mistakes that I did. And again, I just want to help people as much as I can with all the information that I have. So what else do we have? What stock is your biggest holding? Thank you, Ali. Jesus, you're handsome. I'm going to blush. That's funny. This is after my day of work. I don't think I look handsome right now, but I will take a compliment any day, so thank you very much. We've got Palantir, again, had some incredible earnings. Stock market is now closed, and we've closed the day again down almost 3%. So it's interesting to see that the stock market has been moving. Ethereum is down 11%, and I did in fact post, if you guys know, especially in my Patreon, I did do a post about how I was selling my Ethereum because it was at all-time highs. It was extended on the RSI. This is just last week, guys, around the 5th of May, when we were all the way up here around that 350 mark. It's the same mark that it's actually at right now. It did push up a bit higher, so I could have squeezed out a little bit more, but I was up over 1,000% in my position of Ethereum, and I said that we are either going to have a pullback or some kind of correction at some point. And again, we have now come back down to that same level where I bought it. I didn't expect it to push up again so high so quickly, but we have now seen that sell off due to this. So did right there to sell out. I think that in Ethereum, I do think that if we do see any more selling, I can just start to dollar cost average in. Because I was up over 1,000%, I just wanted to take those profits, because again, we don't see those profits that often when you look at your stocks or your cryptos and you see that you are up over 1,000%. So I was really proud of myself for getting in this trade and just holding through that one. Again, in the long term, I still think that this is going to be an incredible asset. I think it's going to be an incredible crypto asset, and I think it's going to run much further. So potentially I could just buy the dip, but I was just so tempted to see that 1,000% gain and just take it and run, especially with the way the markets have been going recently and with all the technicals obviously being so extended. So again, like if you are bullish on Bitcoin, as we said, we were down over 12% earlier, about 13-14%. We are now obviously back up another 3-4%. So this is why you buy the dip, because again, Bitcoin is so volatile. But again, it will just start to move up and down, and a lot of people will see this now as a buy the dip opportunity, especially if they haven't gotten into Bitcoin before. So if you haven't got any Bitcoin and you wanted to get in, then potentially now could be a good time. If you are a believer in the long term, you're going to hold this for quite a few years. You don't plan to sell out tomorrow, next week, next month, or potentially the end of the year. And again, just dollar cost average in. If you get any more dips throughout the year, or we do see a downtrend in cryptocurrency for whatever reason, the best bet is just to have, again, a little bit of a nibble. Never go fully in, guys, on 100% of your position straight away in the stock market. I have a thing on my Discord, and again, it does say if I'm buying into a stock, I like to go in over the course of maybe a few months. Every single week, I just put in maybe 10% of my allocated position. Say I wanted to buy £2,000 or £3,000 of a stock, then again, I would just buy maybe £200 the first week, maybe £300-400 if it was at a good price. And every time we saw little pullbacks and dips, I just throw in another £150-200. Or if we saw any major dips of 10, 15 or 20%, I am more likely to put down about 20% of that position straight away, obviously to use that to my advantage. But that way, I always get the best average price. I build out my position over time, and I am going to have obviously a lot of protection against the market if we do see a fall. And again, if we still have a push in that share price, you're still going to be gaining, because you're going to be adding a dollar cost averaging in over time. Even when it goes up, you're still going to be making that money. So we've got 16 people left. Not surprised that we've not got that many people left now that obviously the stock market is closed, and I'm still going. I've got to go. Thank you for the live stream. Jackie says, can't wait to see you as a unicorn. Good night. Or good night, Jackie. Hope you have a wonderful sleep. So who have we got left in the live stream? Anyway, let me know below. We've got 16 of you guys left. Let me know where you are tuning in from and who is left. I would love to know who is in the live stream. And if you would like me to look over anything else really quickly again before I head off and shampoo my hair before bedtime. We've got Milo is still in the room. Let's have a quick look before we go, though, at what some of the other plays are. If you haven't heard of ESE Gaming, this is quite an interesting company I haven't spoken about on my channel. Another stock recently that I have been watching. I've been watching for a significant pullback, and this may be that pullback. But I don't think you can trade them on Trading 2 and 2. So some brokers you can, some brokers you can't. So you need to see whether your broker does trade ESE Entertainment. But they are growing revenues quite significantly. They're in the gaming space. Very interesting company. And they are very, very cheap. So it could really, really pay to get some shares of this. I think I'm going to buy some shares of this tomorrow in my Interactive Brokers account. Just a small position, again, because they are very, very small market cap stock. But this is a stock, if you haven't heard of, do some research on it. Maybe some homework if you get some time, 10 minutes. Just have a look. Google ESE Entertainment, go on their website, have a little look about what they are. Maybe watch a video or two on YouTube and get a feel for this company, because they have come down significantly from obviously near that $4.50 range. So they've gone down over 50%. They've had a major correction, about 75%. So it could be a nice buy the dip opportunity here. And again, the last plays I just want to talk about before we go are the pack buyer. Where is pack B? Where have I got that stock? We've got BNGO down massively. I'm holding this one as penny stock. They're now working with the NHS here in England. I do have an average price of this around, I think around $5.56, somewhere around there. So up around this range. I'm now down in the red, unfortunately, on this position, but there's nothing I can do, again, but just do dollar cost average in. But I do like this company moving forward. We've got two price predictions on BNGO for the end of the year. I think one is $11. One of them is around $13. Some analysts there that have given those price predictions. Baba, again, another stock I was just talking about. Alibaba, extremely undervalued. We are down over 7% again on the day. This is showing some extreme value, guys, in the market right now. If you are a believer in these companies like Amazon, I mean, they are just the Amazon of China. It's just, they are huge. They do so much. I have an Amazon FBA business. I don't have my collagen in here, but I sell, obviously, supplements on Amazon. And a lot of people get their products from Alibaba, they ship them over and they sell them on Amazon. And, you know, moving forward, they are going to be a huge player. They're going to be a beast. They're an e-commerce beast, just like Amazon. And if you look at how Amazon is performing, $3,000 a share, it's just absolutely insane. Baba, I'm not saying it's going to go to $3,000 a share, but again, they are that leader in China. They are one of the leaders, at least, in that space. They have some regulations coming in, which is why we saw a sell-off. Jack Ma was the name I was looking for earlier. I couldn't think of his name, the CEO, when he went missing, which is why we saw this big, sharp sell-off back down in October. But we are now sitting around $206, and I don't even know what the Baba the Baba stock price predictions are. But stock. Let me type in Alibaba. Wow, we have 49 analysts offering 12-month price predictions. We have a medium target of $317. So I'm going to put this one out on the Patreon. So if you are still tuned in and you're not on my Patreon, then you now know some inside information. But I will be putting out a buy alert for my Patreons tomorrow for Alibaba because this stock is just too undervalued. I'm going to go through their financials tonight as well. But this company, guys, again, because it's a Chinese company, has a lot of fear and uncertainty with it. I know ARK Invest hold it. I'm not even sure if it's even in the ARK. Probably is. I know that they hold it in about 2 or 3 of their ETFs. So if I can see Alibaba on here, this is the ARK. Let's see if it is in here. Maybe I'm blind as a bat because it's late at night now. I'm not sure if I can see it on here. Don't know if they do actually hold it in here. They're definitely holding it in some of their other portfolios. I know that they're holding it in some of their other portfolios. But yeah, this is a really, really interesting opportunity moving forward for potential of over 50% upside in the next kind of year ahead of the next 12 months from now until next May. So this is a stock to watch again if you haven't already. Tattooed Chef, good futures, absolutely. Frankie, Tattooed Chef is now, I think it's actually in my top 5 holdings. It may be, no, it won't be because it's down so much. My average price for Tattooed Chef, I think, is $20. So I'm down in my position now by about 15%. But Tattooed Chef, they had some great earnings again, and they announced that they're moving into a new product range. And again, they are going to start to expand, and they want to invest aggressively right now into their marketing, which they've never done before. They've never even advertised, and this year they are setting up all of their advertising campaigns and things like that. So there'll be a little bit of money expenditure there, but in the long term, once a company does start to employ that idea and put things out to market, we are going to see a push in that share price, inevitably as the sales increase from the marketing. Being a vegan myself, I know how important it is, obviously, to look after your health. And obviously, I love products like Tattooed Chef. I love products like Beyond Meat. All of these companies I do hold in my portfolio because I believe in those companies. And I think that the world will go a lot more towards veganism. Not necessarily saying that everyone's going to become a vegan and we're going to obviously stop having meat products. I don't mean it like that, but what I think people will do is they will find more plant-based alternative foods to supplement their dietary needs for. So rather than having maybe 7 meals a week, every dinner or every lunchtime with, you know, meats, they probably will have maybe 1 or 2 of those meals as a vegetarian option or potentially a vegan option, because there's just so much choice. And again, as we start to have every cumulative doubling for obviously the manufacturing phase in vegan foods and soya proteins, and we start to expand in the harvesting of soya proteins, it will get cheaper over time. So you're actually going to see a cost decline associated with these prices with vegan products. So it's actually going to be cheaper in the long run to produce and manufacture these products than it is right now to in fact buy meat products. So what you're going to see in the next 4 to 5 years is a shift in pricing from meat products being cheap now, they're going to be more expensive, and you're actually going to see the vegan products be cheaper, which is going to be insane. And that's just based on a lot of fundamental research I have done over the last few years, obviously being a vegan. So it's a very interesting company as well. So I'm a huge bull on Tattooed Chef. So definitely, if you haven't got Tattooed Chef at these levels, probably going to be a steal for the future. I don't even know what the price predictions are. I've never even typed in Tattooed Chef. The price predictions on Tattooed Chef. So we've got 2 analysts, one saying $23.50 and one saying $26, which represent a 40% upside. And again, you just have to remember that these companies are quite new, innovative companies, so they are in the early kind of stages of their capacity right now. So you're not going to see a gigantic push, obviously, in the next few months, especially while they're investing aggressively in their marketing. But over the next 2 or 3 years, that's when you're going to start to see those gains back into your portfolio, to my belief, to the best of my belief anyway. And again, you're just going to be putting your money in the portfolio into a different segment again, so into that consumer discretionary. You've got different sectors then. Again, if you've got something in like BIP, which is the Brookfield Infrastructure Recovery Place, like Disney, you've got Planet 13, for example, another different sector that institutions aren't in yet. You've got Baba, which again is in kind of growth, and again it's also in an emerging market because it's not in the US or the UK, it's in a different market. So you're going to have a lot of diverse things to go into. And again, if you put Bitcoin, there's so many things you can do in your portfolio to balance everything out and be diverse. So that's why I like to stay diverse. You've got the best of everything. Oh, thanks, Dean. We've got Dean, guys. Go and follow Dean if you are in the live stream. And there's only a few of us left, but invest with Dean. Hope you're doing great, bud. He's awesome. He's got a great YouTube channel. He started a few months before me and then inspired me to start my channel too. I started looking at his success and was like, I know I can do this. And Dean gave me the confidence as well. So he's an awesome guy, and he's got a little bit of real estate in there as well. And he's a huge bull on APXT. I'm not sure how APXT is doing. The rest of the market is down. I know APXT is like suffering today, but I know he's moving house soon with his missus. So congratulations. I hope that you guys are doing well with all of that, and I know that you're planning to move. But go and give him a follow, guys. Invest with Dean, and also meet George if he's still in here. They are incredible guys, and they have great YouTube channels, great content, and really nice people. There's a lot of really nice YouTubers on this community for sure. So if you guys would like me to look over anything else, again, I hope that you found a lot of value. I hope that you enjoyed this live stream. Just wanted to come on here. Obviously, it's a Thursday evening. Just say hi to you all. I know the markets have been down. Give you some reassurance. I hope that you found this interesting, exciting. You've learned a ton about technicals, about a lot of the plays in my portfolio, about a lot of the stocks that you can watch for potential buy the dip opportunities over the next coming few months. Again, if you're hedging against inflation, what those stocks are going to be, all those crypto assets, and what you can look out for in the markets. So, so many stocks at discount, but no money. That's my problem too. That is my problem as well. I just don't have enough money. We need to win the lottery. Hey, if you win the lottery and want to split with me, just feel free to buy that ticket. My Instagram is Pukalicious100, so feel free to give me a message and buy up those stocks. But yeah, interesting, really interesting. But the markets are closed now, guys. So the only thing to do is trade cryptos. If you are still trading and you are a trade crazy person like me, then you can also look into cryptos on your Binance account or Trust Wallet account. I would always recommend going with Binance. I think they just got a better setup than Trust Wallet. Again, I'm not affiliated with anyone or anything. I don't do any sponsorships on this channel or anything like that. But yeah, Bitcoin is down again to that Elon Musk tweet. So if you want to look for ideas in the market, guys, come onto Coin Market Cap. They have really great information. And if you look at the top 10 crypto assets, is what I do, and go by how they're moving for buy the dip opportunities again, and then you can put them up on a chart, analyze them technically, and see where they're going. But Cardano is 88, another one we've been speaking about a lot on my channel recently. And I said that this is probably going to go up to around that $10 mark soon, and I said that when this was $1.21, and that was literally less than 2 weeks ago, and now we're nearly at $2, which is insane. The market cap is already at 60 billion, and again, we've now passed Dogecoin. Dogecoin has sold off 34% today, and we are now back down to 40 cents on Dogecoin. So I did say that Dogecoin is going to go back down below $40, 40 cents, and I said it's probably going to go down to around that 38 cents to 35 cents. So I don't know if it went down lower today, but pretty right there. A week ago, I did put a video out, and I said that it's just a matter of time until that does have it pull back, because it was way too extended technically. And I said that support area was around 35 up to a range of 48. There was a big kind of range of support and consolidation. When will ALPP go sub 3 so I can buy again? Please ask your magic ball. Well, Mal, I actually bought more just before the end of this live stream. Well, the stocks closed 20 minutes ago. I did in fact buy ALPP live on here with everyone because I love that company, and below $3.50 I'm happy to buy and just dollar cost average in. Buy the dip. It is of course the best thing to do. So who do we have left before I end the live stream? Let me know below in the comments. I want to know who's still watching my live stream. I have no idea who's in here. Make sure you guys are subscribed and go down and like the video. We've also got Bitcoin Cash. Again, if you're looking for ideas to buy into, Bitcoin Cash is a good one. XRP and Polkadot, again, are two really ones to watch. Litecoin, that is down on the day, and another one is Ethereum Classic. So this is another one that, again, you could potentially trade. That is down 50% in the last 7 days, so this has had a massive sell-off. We're now at $82 on the charts for Ethereum Classic. So if you're looking for a buy the dip opportunity in cryptos, then this is definitely one to watch. I would say the Ethereum Classic is probably going to be your number one out of these top 25. That would be my number one choice. Again, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Just telling you what I would do, in my opinion. Cardano, I believe in. I think that's going to be pretty big in the future. probably $10, so it has a potential to about 8x from here, 7x. Going to probably take quite a long time to get there, but it may get there. Ethereum again and Bitcoin, big bull on. So these are just all buy the dip opportunities, guys. Fear mongering from Elon Musk. Again, cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at a great cost of the environment. So we had seen that big sell off today, 11%. Do more of these streams, bro. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Mel. I will probably head off now, guys. I hope you guys had a great night. I am starting back at work full time, as you guys know. The last 2 weeks, I haven't been able to get as much content out, so I will try my best. I think my days off mainly are going to be Fridays and Saturdays, so maybe Fridays are going to be the day to live stream, because it's going to be the only thing that's going to work for me time-wise at the minute. We'll see where that goes, and shifting into the summer, probably going to have a change of days. So, I will do. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening anyway. And again, make sure if you haven't already, go down there, smash that like and smash that subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you guys back on my channel soon for some more content on investing. Stay safe and I'll see you guys soon. So, ciao. Let's turn this bad boy off. I hope you guys have a good evening.